Worm, prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
So if you haven't read chapter 38 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, go ahead and check it out. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below. This video is going to have some spoilers to that, so go ahead and check it out before you start watching. But if you don't care, I don't care either, and I'm going to go ahead and begin. And this chapter was essentially a love letter to the Broly movie that's coming out. I think Toyotaro is really amped up to get to Mastered Ultra Instinct versus Jiren, because I don't think Omen's going to be a thing in the chapters anymore. And he's gearing up to getting into the new movie that's going to be adapted by Toyotaro in the manga that's coming after the Tournament of Power. So this chapter in and of itself, with all the new Broly news that we got, including the trailer, this chapter explains a lot about Broly's power through Kale. It shows exactly what Kale is capable of, hyping her up to be an unstoppable force, and there's even an explanation or a theory from Kaba of what Kale is and what will happen to her eventually. And this is how we know what may happen to Broly in the movie. Now, in the chapter, they're talking about Kale being a legendary Super Saiyan. I think this was a mistranslation. I think they were only supposed to be calling her a legendary Saiyan. I saw it on Twitter. So they think that she is a legendary Saiyan, and even at one point Caulifla calls her a demon Saiyan, and they're explaining exactly what's going to happen to Kale, and this is what Kappa says. Once they awaken, it's all over. Their power keeps growing and they rampage until they basically self-destruct. And then Caulifla obviously gets upset. Self-destruct, you're telling me Kale is gonna die? And then they try to stop Kale from rampaging because they believe that she is going to explode. And I gotta give it to them. This is a really interesting way to kind of put a cap on the legendary Super Saiyan's power, Broly, Kale, old Broly, because without this, their power can continuously grow, similar to how it happened in Dragon Ball Super, just grow and grow, and how it seems like it's happening in the movie. He's going to get way too powerful, way too amped, being able to even contend with Super Saiyan Blue on an even match, if not surpassing it, and then this cap makes it so there is a drawback to using this power, and that is self-destruction. He is going to be using the power throughout the movie, and I wouldn't even be surprised if that's what they're going to go with at the end, where at the end they make us sort of care about Broly and make him sort of like a tragic hero who is being controlled by his father and has this power that he doesn't know how to control, and it's eating him alive. And at the very end, where he's just going berserk to the extreme, he surpasses Goku, surpasses everybody, and then just ends up self-destructing. And I mean, this was put into the chapter, so in the same week that Broly news was coming out, the trailer was coming out. So I don't think that Toyotaro did this without really thinking about it. I think that this was deliberate to explain, or to have an explanation of, or a theory, maybe to make more hype about the movie, because people like me are going to make theories about this, explaining that, yeah, this could be a possibility that Broly could just self-destruct at the end of the movie, and that would be it. And for me, I think it's an interesting way, again, to cap the power, not make them so powerful enough that they don't have drawbacks, but at the same time, self-destruction, I think it's a little bit played out. I think it was played out in Dragon Ball Super. I mean, in just the Tournament of Power, we get Vegeta self-destructing, he survives, and then we get 17 self-destructing, and he also survives. So it almost seems like self-destruct doesn't really have the same oomph that it did before, so believing that Broly would just die at the end of the movie at self-destruct is kind of disappointing and a little bit, you know, you don't want it to be true, but at the same time, it may be a really cool scene to watch. But as long as they do it good in sort of like a poetic fashion, where maybe the music's playing like violin or something, and it gets kind of emotional, then maybe. I mean, I'm not trying to amp it too much. I'm really excited because of the trailer, but I'm not trying to amp it too much. Now, how would I like to see the movie end? I don't think that they should defeat Broly. I think that Broly has the capabilities of being not part of the Z Fighters, but similar to how Hit is, where he kind of comes and goes and does his own thing and is able to control the Berserker power. I mean, if Kale can control her Berserker power, then I don't see why Broly can. That I've said that in my last video. I'm saying it again. I think that that would probably be the best way to go, and then just to throw away a perfectly good villain or a perfectly good character like Broly, unless they're gonna keep making movies explaining different characters or movie characters like you know, Janemba and Bojack. I think they are wasting an opportunity here to keep Broly around and have him be a really cool part of the dynamic that makes Universe 7. Now, when it comes to what that ending fight should look like, again, I told you guys that I want Broly to kind of turn the other cheek or whatever. A lot of people are saying that Ultra Instinct's going to come back because of something at the end of the trailer that looks like Goku's going into Ultra Instinct. I'll make a completely different video about that later and give you my thoughts on why I do not think that Ultra Instinct's going to be in this movie, just based on some of the stuff that was in the trailer itself. But what I would like to happen in the trailer, the fight before Broly has this sort of change of heart, or maybe he just decides that he has control over Berserker now and he maybe transforms into something different. Well, I would like him to face off against a fusion. And Vegito is completely overplayed out at this point now, because we just saw him in Heroes, so I don't think that he'd have the same sort of staying power as, or same awe factor as, say, if we decided to throw in Gogeta into the mix. And I don't think it is that far-fetched to have Vegeta learn the fusion dance just out of shits and giggles, maybe throughout the movie they explain, oh, we need to do fusion, so they try to teach him fusion, because I mean, Trunks learned how to do the Mafuba through a YouTube video, so I mean, Vegeta can learn the dance in, like, say, a couple hours or so if need be. And Gogeta would be perfect. Gogeta Blue, oh, could you imagine Gogeta Blue? That would be a really cool transformation to see and to have made canon. And that could gear us up, say, if they decided to make Fusion Reborn. Now we know that Gogeta is possible. We know that we got out of the way of Vegeta learning the fusion dance, and then we can go into that movie knowing that Gogeta may be a part of the ending of the finale of that movie where they're facing Janemba. That's if they decide to make Fusion Reborn again. And I really do think that they will, or at least they'll bring aspects of it into a brand new movie or a brand new concept. But Gogeta would just be perfect, I think, because he is a character that we've only seen one time, not in any other, like, Dragon Ball Heroes or anything like that, just in one time in a movie, and that is Fusion Reborn. And I think that if he was brought back in this movie, that would be that last ending oomph that movie would need for everyone to be, like, really satisfied, even though maybe they'd be like, you know, Vegeta is a better fusion. But still, Gogeta, I think, would be really awesome to see face off against Broly. And the fact that at the very end of this trailer we get what seems to be Broly just going into the infinity portion of his power, where he's just overpowering and going so berserk that he doesn't even resemble a Saiyan anymore. He looks like a complete monster. He's got those red eyes and everything. And we only see Goku looking stunned and in awe, facing off against just Broly powering up the energy wave that comes off of him, and no Vegeta in sight. I feel like the Super Saiyan Blue form, or Super Saiyan Blue Goku, isn't going to be even close to being enough to defeat Broly on its own. And even if he went to Kaioken, I don't think that's going to be a good amount of power. I mean, there is one more option, and that's Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. But I'll make a completely different video on that later on and tell you my thoughts on it, and if we're going to see it in the movie or not. But anyway, guys, those are just my thoughts on some of the stuff that we got in the new chapter and what I would like to see in the movie. It seems like they're giving us a hint of how Broly's going to either die or lose. Maybe he self-destructs enough where his power just leaves him for a time, or maybe he's just, you know, he's out of power and he just is at the whim of Goku and Vegeta, who decide not to kill him, I guess. Maybe one of those things, or maybe Vegeta just decides to destroy him because he's too big of a threat. I don't know. Anyway, guys, this is going to be BlackScape signing off.